You got that?
Now they're just all over the place.
All right, y'all ready to get started? Ready. Yeah, okay, good. Got one important picture here we go. Always has trouble. I got here a little early today. The guy asked me to be here at 5:15 because he had to go to a ball game, so I could go ahead and get in the building. I got here at 5 and been playing with this for a while, trying to figure out all my issues. So it is September the 8th, 7 p.m. and we're going to start up our September B meeting. Our next one's not going to be until November, where we're actually going to talk. Because our next B meeting is going to be our barbecue. So, oh, there's a alarm to get started. That should be my last one. That was just get started. So if y'all stand up, we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we have Josh Haggett back here that's going to say a prayer for us. Oh, let me get the flag up. Hang on. There we go. Thank you. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go ahead, Josh.
Lord, thank you for this day, and thank you for everybody who's here. And thank you for giving us bees, and please help us to take care of them great. And please help us to be attentive to what Mr. Brewer is telling us tonight. Amen.
There you go. Paying him to do that. Yeah. I'll have to go out there now and see what's going on. All right. So I hope everybody's been enjoying this hot weather. I know I've been getting more and more calls about my bees are doing nothing. I think I'm queenless. I'm thinking I'm that. Oh no, I don't know what to do. And just let's wait and get over the hump. Get over this dry spell and hot spell, and it'll come back. Just wait. And that's hopefully tonight will be the breaking point. Get some rain, get some cooler weather, and queens will get very active and getting ready for winter. So here's our list right now. I'm the president. You got Doug Lively as the vice president. He's off over here on the side with a hat on. Cool shirt. Jim Gordy. He did not make it tonight. This first meeting he has not made in a long time. He is our secretary. Did what?
Call Edwards.
Gary Floyd is our treasurer. He is probably working his way out. Is Holly Dobbs here tonight? So she's not here. We might have to vote her in as secretary eventually. So she's missed like the last 3 meetings. But we are slowly looking for a treasurer. Gary does an outstanding job, but and there's not much to it. I mean, every once in a while I need a check, and he balances the checkbook, and that's about all he does for us, and writes a few checks here and there, and messes with the spreadsheet. But they bought land in Branson, took their motor home up there, and they're loving it. So they only come back home every week or so. Board members, Jim Cox, he's right here somewhere, blue white shirt on. Mike Vaughn right beside him. Candle Man, David Blair, Bee Supplier, Bud Bueller.
Right here.
Hey, Bud. Snuck in on me.
Still?
Leslie here?
No,
No.
Leslie couldn't
She's
make
probably
it.
still tired from the
We have
weekend.
we have an announcement when you're finished.
Really? All right. And Mike Mayhart. Very Vicky. So that's your board.
You can be.
Mike, you want to go ahead and get your stuff in now?
Oh, yeah. Well, you gained a busted microphone.
You know,
The bottom fell off.
Oh, that's
Anyway, anybody who is still interested in positions, president, vice president,
Thank you for the.
so on and so forth, see me before the meeting's over, please. Anybody? That's really all I had.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, Gary I mean, he's gonna be gone so much. He just feels like he ought to maybe step down or let somebody else get in there and help out. And maybe, 2 people can do it, but we prefer just one in there. And, I think Doug Lively, you're talking about going down as a board member of the vice president slot, and Mike Mayhar's kind of volunteered to come up, but that's all gonna be voting in November. Yeah, in November. Because we do not have a December meeting, but we will have our January. And here's Bud, he's gonna say something.
Oh, yeah.
On the bottom, there's
That's mine, huh? Evening, folks. As most of you know, we had our Honeybee and Pollinator Festival for the Master Gardeners out at the Learning Fields this past weekend. It was a really good success. We think better than it was last year. I just like Leslie and I would just like to thank those of you who came out, those of you who helped, you too. Those of you who came out and represented the bee people, because there was a lot of people out there coming in asking about the bees and the bee people, where could they get information. So we sent everybody we could down to you folks. And the last time I saw Mike had a big crowd down there. So
I started losing my voice by the time I was there.
Yeah, looked pretty good. But like I said, I just wanted to thank all of you who participated, all of you who came down, and believe me, there'll be another one next year, so look out for it. Thank you. Hang on to that.
You got to go, man. Yeah, it was a great time. I got up, I think it started at 9, I got there about 8:15 set up, and I didn't even get set up in time, and everybody was just bombarding me.
Got busy.
We were giving out magazines and stuff right and left, and then Channel 5 showed up, of course.
She was cute.
Matter of fact, I can show you that real quick if you want to see it.
Yeah. At the evening mark between North 13th Street and West Olive. With September being National Honey Month, there's an event going on in Fort Smith today. People showed up yesterday to the Honeybee and Pollinator Festival at the Learning Fields at Chaffee Crossing. Starting at noon, those interested can attend classes, training, and lectures. You can even watch some honeybees there from a safe distance as you learn about their pollination process.
They produce beeswax. I mean, a lot of people are looking for beeswax. This is a cube of beeswax. And they also produce honey. We brought some honey out to show them some crystallized honey and some different kind of honeycomb. So we're just there to show them what bees can do for us.
Things wrap up at 5 this afternoon, and here's a fun fact. Honeybees are the official insect of Arkansas.
Man, that was our trivia question.
After
for
organizers
tonight.
spent months preparing for
I had to look that up. I'm like, really? I didn't know that. How did she know that? Somebody had to tell her that. So,
What does?
if you have not been to the Learning Fields, I got introduced to that, I mean, a little over a year ago, like Learning Fields, whatever, I went out there and I was like, wow, this is awesome. And they don't do like I do my garden. I try to do 48 plants and I fall behind on everything. It's a mess. You go out there and their strawberry patch is a strawberry patch. Their tomato patch is a tomato patch. I mean, it's got tomatoes 13 foot tall. I mean, it's just amazing. So you want to go out there and see some cool squash and asparagus and stuff, that's the place to go to. It's fenced in, very kid friendly. Put in a bunch of bat houses a few months ago, and
Boy Scouts help with that.
I mean, it's a great program that's going on out there. Yeah, Boy Scouts, that's a good day. So I'm impressed with that. And is it open all the time,
We're
or?
trying to have it open Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of every week.
No, Tuesday,
Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, thank you, you guys. Every week, we're trying to get the board to okay that,
but it's definitely open the first Saturday of each month.
yes.
And they got some nice walkways out there. It's easy parking, and there's places in there to put on classes and all kinds of stuff. About this size, not
Yeah.
quite this big, but we did.
Whenever we do, pardon me, didn't mean to step on you.
Go ahead.
Whenever we do little things out there, we usually put a blurb in the E. Fort Smith magazine, and we like to contact the local media to see if they'll put out word for whatever we're doing out there. Keep an eye on the newspapers, pick up a new E. Fort Smith every month, and we'll have something in there that'll interest somebody, so you guys can come out there and see what's going on.
Yeah, the September one just came out, and you're in it.
Yes. Oh, yeah?
And Leslie standing on a break like this,
Yeah.
and all the projects y'all do around town at the hotels and
Mhm.
the other gardens, so.
We contacted the paper, and they had me in the paper the other day. Well, you couldn't tell it was me because I had my hood on, but I was
Oh,
out
that's
there
right.
with bees.
I saw him,
You did?
yeah, so starting the 16th, Isaac's gonna have a winemaking class out there.
Yes.
Apple wine.
Yes, he's gonna start his wine.
Last year at the Pollinator Festival, he suckered a bunch of beekeepers into coming out there and doing the bee mead making, and good friends, had a good time, that's where this started. And this weekend, I broke open my first jar of mead, and it tasted nothing like it did when we were at it. It was actually good. And I was like, boy, this year of aging has done it well, I mean, almost a year. And so we're gonna enjoy that over the Christmas break. Okay, that was a fun time. So, reading from minutes from the last week, or last meeting, let's see here, we went to the Tulsa meeting, had a great time. They're kind of wanting us to come back up there, that's a pretty long drive just for the circle, but we enjoyed it. We were talking about getting a wireless mic. David Blair threw around some numbers, and I thought it was higher than what I thought a wireless mic was gonna cost us. So I thought I might wait till next year, but David has bought one and we're still trying to get it to work, so we'll see what happens. You know, it's one of those things, it should work, it's supposed to sync and it didn't sync. Talked about heat stress and beekeepers because it was hot, still hot. Sting reactions, I mean, Sylvia has a nice picture on there, her getting stung on the arm, swelled up really big. I usually don't have much trouble with it, but I did Doug Lively the other day. One got my veil and went right inside my nose and tagged me inside my nose. Who was it? Somebody was driving up the driveway. Somebody from the club was driving up there, driving Lisa to get the extractor, and I walked up there, tears coming out both eyes. I was like I got punched in the nose, man. It practically did, it hurt. So, that wasn't my full suit, I was just wearing a loose veil, and one got in there and she went, veil, nose, veil, and I killed her. I said, well, that wasn't that bad, and it would take about 3 seconds, and it was bad. We talked about how many hives to have in city limits. We don't want to get to the point where somebody has 25 hives in their backyard and the city actually has to come out and put their foot down and say, that's it. And you can't have hives within a half mile of a school and half mile of a hospital and so forth, so forth, so forth. So we're just asking people to, don't be throwing 25 hives in your backyard. If you think you want that many, there's plenty of places to put hives, plenty. And you can always ask around. There's like gardeners all the time asking me to come put hives in their yard. Storage unit, we got it at Van Buren's, working out great for us. Been running some pollen traps. I know David has his on quite a bit. I had to take mine all off to paint them and really get ready for next year. We talked about moths and beetles, observation hive at the housing authority. Just to back up to that, I removed this observation hive a while back, probably 2.5, 3 years ago. Alfred LaRue had put it in, and I don't know if y'all know who Alfred LaRue is. He had the honey house in Van Buren, and I thought, since I'm building one, I might as well build two. And he stopped by the 64 Galore when David and I was out there and said, man, I've got cancer, I've got it bad, and I've got a hive up north by Artist Point that I promised the lady I'd maintain for a year, and I can't. The bees have left it, can you go fix it? And I went out there, and it's a big 12-frame monster apparatus, and she didn't have enough bees to fill up 12 frames, so only maybe about 6. So I built 2 6-framers, and decided to go ahead and do the Van Buren Housing Authority one also. And this is just basic. All I did is just 2x6s, cut in a rectangle, put some table saw marks in there for the frame rest, left a little space at the bottom for the tube to come out and in between the frames, and put some feeder holes at the top. And that's all I did, nothing fancy. And this is the one up there at Artist Point that I did. That's this guy's rubber bands in there, because I had to do the cutout to put it in. But then I went to the Van Buren Housing Authority and went ahead and put them one in also. They didn't have the bees. I had a nuke that I didn't think was going to make it through the winter unless they really got in gear, and I went ahead and put them in there. Now, it didn't work at first. You can see my hoses coming out the side, and the bees came out, and it was just like a water slide. And that was the original holes that were inside the building. That was the original shelf, and I thought, well, evidently this worked somehow. Well, it didn't. So it's now sitting down on the table and seems to be working great. Actually, it's sitting down here on this table now, so these tubes are just that one's just coming straight in the side. This one still has a little bit of a down drop, but it's not that bad. And they built a chain link fence out there, you can see it, all the way up to the roof of the building. And they put a vacuum cleaner duct over, like the little vent cover, over the holes. Because what happened to this before was somebody walked up with 2 cans of Raid, hit both holes at the same time, dropped the cans and left, and that killed the entire hive. So they're hoping the fence and telling that riffraff to stay away from that thing will help out this year. Maybe they'll stay there. So I went ahead and took care of that. Patricia, did anybody go buy a hive from J.C. Frost when I put them up here for sale last time? I know we had a couple of people head out there. I don't know, I haven't talked to him to see if he sold them all, because I know he wanted to sell several. Our treasury reports is holding about the same it was last time, about $4,000 in the account. In August we spent about $60. 65 individual members, 87 families, for a total of 239 people in the club. Now I know we probably got some new people here, because I see some people I've never seen before. So if you went to the Pollinator Festival and came out here and feel like standing up and introducing yourself and telling us if you have a hive or not, maybe a 2-second what your plan is for the future, please do. If you don't want to stand up and say that, you don't have to, I'm just asking.
We went to the Pollinator Festival.
Okay.
We had a hive that we got last summer, but they didn't make it through the winter.
Okay.
So we need to learn some more stuff so we don't have that happen again.
Okay.
We're Gary and Vicky,
Where are you from?
between Van Buren and Elma.
Oh, good, okay. Well, I live in Van Buren, and he lives in Alma, or kind of over in that area.
We won't hold it against
Do what?
you. We won't hold that against you.
Oh, okay. But, what? Next,
I'm Cindy Kopak. I also went to the
pollinator.
Pollinator Festival, and we have a place north of Ozark. We are not into bees yet, but we've got lots of clover. We've got 4 acres of, we're converting to native grasses, and we've got wildflowers in there. We've got, 125 acres of trees, so we need bees. So I want to learn this fall and hopefully start next spring.
Okay. Next.
We're Paul and Catherine Parsons. We're from Muldrow. We collected, a swarm out of a tree in our backyard and have them now in a hive box, and they're doing good about 3 weeks in.
Great.
Lisa told us about it. I used to work with Lisa here at Mercy, so she invited us to come out tonight.
We're good. Good.
Michael Lawhorn, this is my daughter Maria Lawhorn. We went to the Pollinator event this weekend as well. We're about to get some land. We close on it in November, and it's right between Marling and Fort Smith. And so we're interested in learning, as she said, learning this winter and starting up in the spring.
Wait, did you talk to me there?
I talked to them.
Okay. Man, there was somebody I talked to right away for like 20, 30 minutes, two guys. Go ahead, sir.
Terry Edwards, I live in north of Muldrow. I have 4 hives. Kind of read about them last winter and kind of, I bought 3 pounds bees, and then someone found out I wanted some, and went and cut out a whole bunch of them for the house. Now I have 4, so.
Good. Good, you had a good start.
Weren't you the young fellow that went along with Eamon to study the beehive when he checked it out?
Yeah.
I thought so. Yeah, Eamon Medic was there, our state guru.
Yeah.
And
State inspector?
He checked the hive for us. Everything's cool.
Oh, good. Well, for those the new folks, try to make this as easy as possible when I built the Facebook page. It's called Fort Smith Bee Class. You go on Facebook and look at Fort Smith Bee Class. When we get ready to start having our classes in January, February, March, whenever we decide to have one, that's where it's going to be. So we'll start. We have a lot of people that's been constantly just liking it, getting ready. So when we start posting our stuff on there and saying that we're going to do a class, they'll get notified. Jim Cox.
Are we going to be able to have that class at Janet Huckabee?
John Z's not gonna teach the class, you're teaching it, by the way. I forgot to tell you that. Sorry. I'll provide you a couple pictures, and a handout.
I'll tell everything I know.
In 10 minutes. Me too. I'm gonna leave the box. Paint it white. Yeah, we just, Doug and I got together, and with the business I'm running, I'm hoping to start teaching some B classes and do some consulting work. I got a couple of great places over in Van Buren where I could hold classes. We could probably do classes here, max capacity is 100, and we could do more than one. John was doing a 9-hour class over 3 Mondays, and with the ice in February, it just, every year, it just never, it never went smooth. And it was a lot of work getting rolling 200 people into that building. So we would like to do it here, maybe even the Glass Pavilion downtown where we're doing our barbecue. It costs, I think that one's $100, no, that one's, I think it's $100. And the other buildings just on the river are 50 if you do them during the week. So that's not too bad. You wouldn't have to charge too much to cover your building cost. And a nice controlled environment, computer system there if you need it. And we're planning on just doing it ourselves. And I'm gonna start this winter and start putting slides together, put me a PowerPoint together and handouts. I've got John's handout and I'm gonna make it much shorter. I'm gonna delete all the history stuff out of there. I just wanna focus on how to get a beehive started and how to maintain it. That's what I wanna teach. So we're gonna start posting it on here. And at first we'll do a couple of club classes, or at least one, maybe 2 club classes. And then I'll start trying to teach some more over there. I'm already doing some for the public libraries and stuff, just for some adults side of it. But Fort Smith B class is where we're going to be posting that.
I was wondering if you had talked, since you'd been to Tulsa a year ago, when Mike and I went to Tulsa, we asked them about their B classes. And in Tulsa, they do it on one single Saturday day, and they charge $75.
Yeah.
Not anymore. They're doing 3 Saturdays in a row now, 4 hours at a time.
Really?
What do they charge, do you know?
It's like, well, it's like 100, 150
Okay.
minimum.
I know it's like 150, and then Ken Davis is talking about 40 an individual, 75 a couple, something like that. And then that queen rearing class coming up is $75, and that's up near the Tulsa area. So, I mean, we've been doing them practically for free over there at the Nature Center, but last year, we required club membership. Who John works for sees that as we're charging for the class, so therefore we had to provide the handouts. Well, the handouts just aren't 1 pages, they were like 15 pages front and back.
Yeah.
So by the time I ran around, got them all printed, we were dropping $200 a class just to get those things printed. So we just kept reducing down our numbers to try to spend as little as we could as we got to the end. So we put some money into it, and the membership that we got out of it helped recover quite a bit of it. And then we did some 50-50 stuff to help out. So there is going to be some charge, but my handouts are going to be not quite as thick as his. And we'll just get some classes going. More people want them, we'll just keep kicking them out. New business. I don't know what happened. I missed something somewhere. So we did the guest thing, we don't really have a committee report, now we're gonna roll into new business. The Arkansas Beekeepers Association out of Little Rock, their fall conference is 9-10 October. It's at the Ozark Folk Center in Mountain View, Arkansas, 1032 Park Ave, Mountain View, Arkansas. There's the phone number for the Ozark Folk Center. Now this is one of the good deals. I wanted a suit, but it's like ordering clothes off the internet. I wanted one that fit. And so Walter Kelly was going to the one that was in Fayetteville. And I called him and said, I want a suit, this is the way I want it. And he said, well, I'll bring like 3 sizes. You can try one on and purchase it. I said, well, great. Well, Dave from Paris, Kelly from Kentucky, Central Beekeeping Supply from Russellville, and Southwest Beekeeping Supply is all going to be there. So if you call them up and order your equipment, or order you a suit, or whatever you want to order, they'll bring it. And that way you can drive there. Of course, Central Beekeeping Supply won't help you that much, they're just right down the road. But if you order something from Daydent down there in Paris and you want to try it on, at least they can bring it up there and you won't have to deal with shipping. The conference does cost, if you're a member of the Bee Club, there, the ABA, it's $25, but if you're not a member, it's $35. And that gives you a membership also. They have some great speakers. I went to the one last year. I'm gonna be busy this year, I can't make it. But some great speakers last year talking about all the hive beetle issues and mite issues and how people run their honey business. One lady was there all the way from New Jersey. I guess they paid for her to come all the way out. I was surprised. I guess that's where the $35 goes to. And she was telling us how she has a self-serve store that brings in about $5,000 a month, just from soaps, lip balms, anything to do with honey and wax. And she had a red brick road store down this path, and people just paid on the honor system, and that's the way she ran her business. So it worked really well. So also those suppliers have some cool stuff there. They're not just coming there to show up. Boy, they bring trailer loads. And you can actually go there and touch and do some feeling around and stuff that you just only see in the magazines. Great feeders and suits and gloves. Like I said, I did the observation time in the Van Buren Housing Authority. If you want to go see that, there's a hospital there in Van Buren. I can't tell you the name of it. Summit.
Not anymore, it's Mercy.
Mercy. I was pointing to the Mercy lady back there. I thought you might be able to tell me if it was Mercy. Well, it's one of those. It's the only hospital in Van Buren. It's right on the curve there where Kibler Road is. It's kind of a little dangerous turn there. You can head for the ER, and as you just start to curve around to go to the hospital, turn right and go down the hill, which you'll be turning towards the river west. And you'll see a building on your right that says Van Buren Housing Authority office. That's not it. You turn left on the second street, and it's about the fourth building on your right. It says Van Buren Housing Authority office. And you walk in there, and you'll see that chain link fence thing on the front of it. And it's all computers and guinea pigs and stuff like that. It's a kids thing where they can go in there and hang out. So it's for low-income families and all that kind of stuff, and the kids go in there and hang out and have a good time. So they're enjoying the bees already. I just want to know if anybody did purchase a J.C. Frost hive. Training hive report. This is what I was looking for earlier. We have those 4 training hives. We were only planning on doing 3 that we got was donated an extra one. It was decided we'd spend $500 and we're at $494 right now. So we're done. I'm not going to spend any more on them this winter unless I just absolutely have to. Next year is to plan, extract honey, split, raise queens out of them, whatever, for them to pay for themselves, to put that $500 back in. I was thinking about if we did the extracting thing, maybe we could have a class on extracting, and if the public wanted to come and see, you know, $5 a head or something for them to come in and see and buy honey or do whatever, and then get honey. We take right out of the extractor, right into the jar and sell honey right out of it. And hopefully we make our $500 back pretty quick. So they're doing okay. Hive number 1, 3, and 4, very happy with them. Hive number 2, I think it's hive number 2. What is it? Yeah, it was a swarm that we put into a box, and it went out 4 frames and just kind of stopped. And it was up against the wall on one side. So I went ahead and centered it, and we let it cook in there for a little bit longer, and now it's out 8 or 9 frames. So we put another deep on there on 16 August. I went back on 25 August. There was 2 bees up in the top, and it touched the foundation. Went back on 1 September, same results. But it's hot. They're not building a lot of wax right now. Things are just kind of idle. And I'm not feeding it. We're not doing any of that to those hives. Hopefully, after this rain and honey flow gets moving pretty good and the fall flowers get going, that thing will start kicking in. At least draw out some comb for the winter so they can store some stuff up there.
2 things. My hive I keep down there, you know, my personal
Yeah.
one, it's got a full super on it, so there should have some good honey coming in, or nectar coming in now. I had to put a never super on it every day.
Okay.
And 2, if we're meeting Sunday at all
Oh, yeah.
for that,
Yep.
I'm gonna have to make up the liability waiver.
I've called the insurance company. They haven't called me back yet. But we're gonna have the insurance for the club unless it's just a crazy god of a price. I hope not. My insurance is about $600 a year, so I'm so hoping that's what that will be. Unless you'll let that training hive get covered under my business, and I can do it that way. But I'd prefer the club to have their own insurance. But if we're gonna teach a class again on Sunday like we normally do at 2 o'clock, after the week of the meeting, this Sunday, we'll be out there at 2 o'clock. Mike's gonna have a waiver for you to sign, and everybody needs to have bells, gloves. We prefer wear your equipment. And if you don't have any equipment, talk to David Blair, and you can go get you a bell and a pair of gloves, and put you on a long sleeve shirt or like a rain jacket. And we'll be out there this Sunday at 2 o'clock. Barbecue is our next meeting, October 13th, 7 p.m., Glass Pavilion. Does anybody not know where that's at? It's,
Exactly seen it, but
Okay.
I think I can find it.
Where is it?
Just off the
It
air.
is.
Bridge.
you know where the Ferris wheel that keeps breaking down? Okay. It is exactly one block
Garrison.
away from Garrison. Yeah, it's one block away from Garrison,
I think it's like north.
north. Yeah, so it's 100 block North B Street. It's a one-way street. We can park and take up one lane on that. There's also a circle drive at the building. We can fill that dude up. Also up beside the building, there's concrete parking. They don't want you to park on the bricks. So we can fill that up. We're probably, Dave and I will probably bring our awnings and set them up outside if people want to stand outside. And just 10, 15 yards away is a parking lot for 50 cars. So I think we'll have plenty of parking. As long as somebody don't roll in there with a dually and a 40-foot trailer or something. But we're gonna provide the meat. Right now the board's trying to decide where to get the meat from. But people A through L is gonna bring desserts, and M through Z is gonna bring side dish. That's last names, first letter. So that's I put a list over here. We kind of need to know how many people are coming in your group. Now, if you pay for an individual membership, there's a 1 over here on the left. If you pay for a family, there's a 2, so you'll know what you paid for. If you pay this individual membership, you get 1 door prize ticket and 1 plate. If you pay for a family, you get 2 door prize tickets and you can bring your family. So go ahead and go down through there and tell me how many people you're bringing and kind of what kind of food you're planning on bringing. I love baked beans, by the way.
Danny, if we're new, I mean, my husband and I were just now, like, the people that came on Saturday.
Okay.
Do we have to pay our membership to do this?
If you're gonna come to barbecue, you need to be a member.
Oh, okay.
That pays for your plate. I mean, it's $12 to be a member, 18 for a family.
Okay, yeah, I didn't even know how to, I mean, I'll ask somebody to
Yep,
tell me
you
how
can
to.
come over here and talk to David here in a little bit,
Okay.
and we can take down your information, and we just need a name, a phone number, an email. Phone number and email is a big thing. I put out a calling post before the meeting, and I put out an email before the meeting, letting you know what, to remind you. So, and that's where we'll know your name and let you in on the Facebook page.
Well, if we don't have Facebook, do you do email?
Email, yeah,
Oh.
yeah, just make sure I get a good email address for you.
Okay.
Okay. And we don't give out any information. I only give it to the board members, and that's it. Talked about the beginner beekeeping classes for next year. Oh, man. What day was that, Mike? Sunday, the newspaper came out, and there's a column that says incorporated, and it goes up about another half a column, and it comes down, and right where our name said Western Arkansas Beekeepers Association, Denny Brewers, right beside it said bankrupt. But that was the header of the next column. And I'm gonna throw any names around, we gotta start getting phone calls that we're bankrupt.
That was a frantic phone call.
So Mike called me, Doug called me, I called them, I called my mom and said, do you have a newspaper? Because I don't have, Doug can't find his newspaper, I don't have a newspaper. She took a picture of it and sent it to me and says, it's under the incorporated. So the Rue banking, or bookkeeping business in Van Buren, it's Jan Rue is doing our incorporation, our nonprofit. She's doing 3 at a time, and they all 3 were in the newspaper on Sunday. And I went and talked to her today. She has all the paperwork there. I should be receiving something in the mail from the state, and once I get that, I need to go down there and sign some paperwork, and then she'll start off with the federal stuff. Still might take 8 months, but we are now incorporated. That's So that's definitely why I want to try to get some insurance started. And we just talked about that. Just looking for people to run the thing. Just like I said earlier, vice president, he's gonna step up, he's gonna step down. If we want somebody to slide into the, a board member, and definitely looking for a treasurer. If anybody don't mind doing that. And this is not a lot of work. The president slot's the most work, and you can make the most out of it you want. And if somebody wants to be president, it's right here. I'm not gonna wrestle you. So if you want to step up and do it for a year, that'd be great. And then if I have to take it next year and take it back from you, and we just swap back and forth for a couple of years. But if anybody wants to, Jerry Bone wants to come up here and do something like that, somebody from Oklahoma or something, you know, it'd be nice to have some different voice up here for a year. I feel like I'm teaching the same stuff over and over. Man, I forgot to show, I didn't want to show this either, but. So the state insect is the honeybee. Is there anybody else that did not know that? Josh, come on, work with me. Did you know the honeybee is the state insect?
I knew.
I did not know that. The news said that, and I went right to Google. I was like, boy, I hope she's right. And there you go. I mean, in 1973, it became, and by the way, there's 15 other states that the honeybee is the state insect. I was unaware of that. I was embarrassed that I was unaware of that. What is the state beverage?
Beer.
Who said that? Milk? Yeah, beer. Milk. Good for you. Who you hear now? Who was that said that? What's your name?
Chelsea
To outrun the moisture that's coming up there?
Yeah, and to have, you know, if I put 4 inches, is that too much when the winter's gonna move, or is it?
Just don't be packing it in there. You're just trying to, I mean, there's not gonna be a whole lot of water getting up on that lid, just a little bit of sweat. And it probably depends on the humidity level, and it's usually pretty dry during the winter. But if you seal that thing up tight with duct tape and don't put an upper vent on it of any type, and you just seal it up tight, you're gonna end up having a sweat box.
Hey, Jerry, all I do, like on mine, I just make sure the vent holes are above the chips. So as the moisture wakes up, it's got a nice little air pocket like an attic to kind of vent out instead of clogging up with wood.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, I might a couple inches. I mean, wherever, I just get my piece, stick a hole, and wherever it lands, I just keep the wood under it. It's not real exact.
And like the piece of plastic I slide in, and it's a good thing when I pull it out, I can see during the winter, you know, or during early spring, I can pull out that board and look at it, see what's fell out of the hive during the winter. But like I said, I don't make sure that's tight in there. I just gotta slide it in there, and it's got it pretty far back in there where I gotta get like forceps and stuff to get it back out of there. So there's some room for air to go through that bottle. I want a little bit of empty.
I use a pegboard.
Yeah, pegboard.
It works great.
Who we got back there?
Pegboard.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, we're straight
Can
bottom
you do the
board,
thing with
just
the sugar and the newspaper?
kept the same
Yes.
size as
Put your
the
newspaper down dry,
corrugated.
pour your sugar on
Take
top,
out the screen bottom board.
then squirt it just enough to make the sugar crystals on its top stick together. When you come back in the spring, if there's any sugar left, it'll be hard to rock because it absorbs moisture over there.
There's something that besides wood chips, the newspaper and the sugar will take care of the moisture problem. Now, I kept peeking in one of mine, and it was just solid sugar, like he's talking about the hard top, and I was like, oh, they hadn't even touched it. Oh, they hadn't even touched it. And one day I touched it, and all it was a very thin layer of hard sugar. It was all gone. Because I was like, I'll clean this stuff up, and it was just a layer of hard sugar. They ate everything from up underneath.
So if they have enough, if you leave them enough honey, and we don't have a really bad winter, then we shouldn't have to feed the sugar.
It's not the bad winter.
It's a spring.
It's the warm winter when they go out and fly and fly and fly and fly on 65-degree days, and there's nothing for them to eat, and they come back and eat all that honey. And then it gets 17 degrees in February for 4 days in a row, and they sit there and starve to death. Because they're out of honey, freeze to death. So that's why the February is when I really watch just to get a hive just over that 5 or 10 day hump to get some flowers going, and that's when I'll do some open feeding and just try to help them. Sandy, you have something?
Where do you get those spacers? Is that just something y'all make,
Oh yeah, just wood spacers, I mean, you can make it out of pallet boards, make it out of just about anything, and I make mine out of 2x4s. They don't have to be nailed together, tongue and groove, all, but just enough to raise your lid up, however high you wanna raise it. Okay? Russell Wilson.
The spring tops that David makes, got the slits on the sides, can we just flip those over and put sawdust or wood chips in those? As long as we put like tape on the sides for the slits?
You just put wood chips in it,
Yeah,
you'll
the
have to
string's
flip
already
it.
down.
Yeah, I wouldn't flip it over.
If you flip it over, it'll take on rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it goes that way.
Yeah, I wouldn't flip it over, I would just take your telescoping lid off and,
Well, I flipped it over last year, just put tape on the
Yeah.
slits, that way I had extra room in there to put
food
sugar
and stuff,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, but if you're gonna do the wood, you know, if you end up putting a spacer under it, you know, to raise it up, I wouldn't flip it over, I'd just raise it up, put the wood chips on it.
On the
Jan.
ones he's talking about, do you need to take those vents or leave those open?
If you're gonna fill that full of wood chips, I would probably leave them open.
Let airflow.
Yeah, a little bit of air in there. It's like people building these tight houses and then filling them full of potpourri. You know, I walk in there about puke and I'm like, you need to turn the attic fan on, let some mosquitoes in here a little bit, you know? So, let some moisture, that's people's getting mold and all that kind of stuff. And they're like, we don't know why. Because you're locked in here. Oh yeah, so queen excluders, I've seen it again, somebody had a queen excluder on there on a picture preparing for winter. I haven't proven it yet, and I can't believe they would just move up through that queen excluder and leave her behind and let her freeze to death. But it's a possibility that she could go up through that queen excluder, all the bees could go up through that queen excluder getting honey and leave that queen behind.
I heard they will. One thing is, they still smell her. And
They do, but
and
she's
they may
frozen
not
to
realize
death.
that she's, yeah, well, they may not
Yeah.
realize they have left.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And so.
So make sure you get those queen excluders off. I mean, I have a technique for running queen excluders. If I put a brand new medium super on there and it's foundation only, I don't put a queen excluder on there. Because I want bees to get up in there. Now 3-4 days later, I go back and look and they've drawn out comb where she can lay eggs, queen excluder goes on there. Until they get some liquid in the holes where she won't lay eggs, queen excluder comes back off. I'm just watching it, see what's going on. If you don't have time to watch it that close, you know, you might get some eggs up there. But if you do, I've got a hive that's just mediums. That frame goes over into the medium one and I put a blank back in there and shove some frames together and they just got a brand new frame with some eggs in it. So, because I try to keep that honey super as clean as I can.
Take the excluder off now.
I don't see any reason to have the clean excluder on. I have not ran clean excluders for 2 or 3 months now. Mine are only usually in the spring when I got those queens that are laying really fast and every once in a while I'll sneak up there and lay a row. And occasionally, I don't know who told me this last week, I was texting them back and forth, they said they went up there honey super and there's a frame full of drones. Oh, it was Myron. Myron, you here? He's one of our new beekeepers. He's a bear guy for the Arkansas Game and Fish. And I thought, well, I'm going to guess that you have a laying worker above your queen excluder, is what I was guessing. I said, take that thing out. He goes, I already scraped all the drones out looking for mines. I said, well, that was probably a good move. But why would they be laying
I've got drones
200 drones up there?
in my brood boxes right
Yeah.
now, drones on my eyes.
I do have some, but I don't have,
Little patches.
yeah, a wall of them like what he was talking about. Look at our hands. So Mike, this is what you built. It's just, what, 1.5 inch, 2 inch,
It's about 4 inches tall.
4 inches?
Each tray holds a 5-pound bag of sugar. So there's 10 pounds of feed inside of them with my mega bee. Then you've got the 3 frames opening in the middle where you can put your solid protein blocks or whatever you like to give in card form. Stick it right on top of the frames. It says an emergency feed. If it's warm, they go up and eat the sugar and the powder. If it's cold and they're going up and run out of food and you can't get outside, they can live off a block for about a month. That one's after they've eaten an entire block when I was checking it. And like I said, if you have excess sugar in it, it'll absorb some moisture. The front of mine, you can't see it, but the very front board, that's where I put my upper entrance. There's just a whole board in it. Then I put my quilt box on top of that. And November I'll shut it up. January I'll open it once. March I'll open it up and go in spring. I'll basically open it twice during the cold weather. That's it. And I always have excess sugar. I dump it in a bucket and I make my first feed with it because it's already got lemongrass oil on it. It's already got mega beet powder in it. So I don't waste anything. It all gets used.
Now you can buy those high-dollar feeders that are plastic. They go on a medium and they're screens and spacers and floating sticks, and I did that. Mine are sitting in the corner somewhere. I like stuff like this better.
It's corrugated plastic.
I didn't like the
Stapled with
liquid.
duct tape.
Liquid, I opened that thing up, and there was larvae and beetles and stuff all over it.
Is that what that is at the top?
Yeah, you can barely see it. Yeah. That's the only hole I put in it at all to be anything other than the quilt box itself. The bottom, I've got a hole not even that big. The rest of it's just sealed up.
Now this is great, but David and I both ran across it this year. I left some frames out and some space like this when February and March rolled around, and they built comb all through there. And I had to go back and fix some fix some things, get some lids off. It was all built off my lids, and so you need to get that off early February when they get ready to start building comb. Or they'll fill that thing right up. But that's a very inexpensive way to make you a feeder. I'm not saying I want you to go out and spend your money, but
The corrugated's like $11 for 4x8 sheet, and you're not using but maybe an 8-9 inch strip of it per side, so it goes a long ways.
We got election coming up, you just go steal it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
There you go. Didn't want to elect them in.
That's a good year.
Right.
Yeah, roughly.
I already built the event for the Bee Club barbecue.
When it's warm, they go up and just flood and eat. And when it's cold, they just right back in.
So if y'all want to put information in there about how many's coming, that'll also work. Now Mike's got a mite problem. He's got some issues.
Hey, that's my biggest, strongest, best honey producing hive, and that's a 1 cup alcohol wash, and there's 77 mites in it. But they are kicking better than anything else I have.
Yeah.
They're doing better than the one beside it that has 5 mites. So as much as I didn't want to do it, I'm doing the mineral oil vapor in this one. I was going to do a count yesterday just to compare and show you all, but that was an issue yesterday, and I couldn't find her for once. And I'm going to do it again this weekend, and I'll post up how it goes. They're still kicking. I've got 2 mediums full on it extra right now. They're still bringing it in just fine.
Now that hive, the 4th hive that we got for our training hives, we baked it, smoked it or fogged it on the 16th of August, right after our last meeting. And that would have been Sunday. And I went back the next Sunday, Monday, it was pouring down rain, so I went back on Tuesday and I hit it again. And I went back the following Tuesday and hit it again on September 1st. So this weekend, when we go out there Sunday at 2 o'clock to check it, we're going to do the alcohol shake again and see what we're at. I think we're at about 16 last time, so we're going to see what the numbers are after fogging them.
So if you have the screen bottom board, put slide the corrugated in that to keep it from fogging, the fog from going out. You want it to go up, right?
Actually, it goes up just fine.
It'll go up.
Yeah. That one has a vent top on it like they were selling. So I don't even open the top. But if I have something without a good vent top on it, I would go ahead and crack the top off and set to the side just a little bit and fog it until I start seeing it come out.
That upper entrance up there, so that should be right.
So, and they're a little upset about it, but the powdered sugar thing seems to upset them more. When I put powdered sugar, boy, they're aggravated.
Yep.
So. So, I was gonna tell Mike on here, next time you need to use a black tub.
You can see them.
There's another event coming up in Little Rock here in a couple of weekends. I'm not sure it's all just, I don't know if it's gonna be a big kid thing or not. I don't know if you're gonna go in and see that's the Arkansas Honey Festival. I don't know if you're gonna get to go into this company and see how they extract honey and all that kind of stuff, but that might be something we buzz down there and take a look at if we, Saturday 9 to 4 to see how the weather is. And there's another big honey company over in Oklahoma that does a festival every year, and you can go inside their factory and see them extracting honey and see their equipment. I didn't make that this year either. There's too many festivals on the weekends, can't make them all. So for the new folks that are here, this is our Facebook page. It is our name. Western Arkansas, Eastern Oklahoma Beekeepers Association. We have two. The one that you want to join is this one, once you become a paid member and I get your name on the list with Doug here. The other one is just our public one. Has the same name, but it's a public one. And that's what it looks like. And, you know, we put some information on there, but not anything about how much money we have in our account and anybody's phone number and all that kind of stuff.
Anybody not signed the sheet? You all signed it?
Signed it.
All right, what else y'all want to talk about? We did the winterization. What else is going on right now? Oh, door prize tickets. Now tonight we have, is there two of them? Yes. Is this going to be one door prize or you don't really care?
Whatever you
Whatever you want.
Does anybody need an extractor?
Oh, yes, Presley Wilson has an extractor. I can't get those out there. Presley Wilson has an extractor out the back of his vehicle. That's the one I keep, or it'll go back into storage if nobody needs to take it home with it. And Doug, I guess you got yours at your office. And Sandy, you have her other one. Okay, we need to put a GPS locator on those things so I can keep up with them. So, for door prizes, Tracy Metters from Metters Hardware Store in Alma, and then Ozark and Clarksville. Donated some 1/4 inch wire. Jan McMullen, no, yes, McMillan donated a couple dozen eggs, so that's going to be 2 separate door prize tickets. And we're going to do the 25-25, right? Did I mess up already? So when we figure up our tickets here, let me just say it's $100. You know, we sold $100 of tickets. 50% of it, $50 is going to go to the club. Then we're going to take 25%, 25%, and that's going to be 2 tickets. So somebody will get $25, somebody will get $25.
Percent.
And then a percent, 25%. I'm just saying it was $100. And then we got 3 more door prizes here. Please don't drop the eggs in the room. If anybody wants door prize tickets, they're 1 for $1, 6 for $5, or a table link for 20. So what else we want to talk about? Come on, Sylvia, you always have something to talk about. You got plans back there still for sale or giveaway, or?
I haven't looked, but yeah, I've got, there's.
Sylvia has some plans right back there to give away. Y'all just feel free to take them, pilfer them. Lisa?
Are you on the training hives?
Sure.
Are you gonna do any winterization on that just to show people how to do, or?
It is y'all's hive. I don't want to run them the way I want to run them.
Because I'm listening, but I'm not real clear how to do something.
Do you want to winterize a hive?
Yeah.
You want to winterize one of them?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll winterize one of
I
them.
know.
I have a question. Does everybody feed all winter, or?
No. Only if you have to.
Only if you have to. I mean, I'm the guy who goes by and picks up my hive and see how things are going, and, you know, and maybe put some feed out there and see what they do with it. You know, if I put the chicken water out there full of sugar water and they just devour it in 10 minutes, maybe I'll give them a little bit more. On a warm 65-degree day. I enjoy that. I enjoy going and getting a frame of honey that wasn't all pretty and exactly the way I wanted it, and setting it out there and let them clean it up for me. I'll do that on a 65-degree day during the winter and just see how things are going, but I usually don't individually feed each hive. But
I set up a
Phil?
communal feeding station,
Yeah.
so when it's warm, if they go looking, they've got something to come back to.
Yeah, feel free, it's your house, I mean, set up, do whatever you want.
I'm a little confused about this honey flow stuff.
It's not, I don't have a day when it started. You know, I just started noticing flowers and fence rows, and there's flowers here and there's flowers, no, I'm not talking crepe
Well, I was
myrtles.
feeding partly to try to get them to draw more comb,
Sure.
and then now they've gone 72 hours without finishing it. So does that mean they don't want it?
They
They
don't,
found
that's
something?
what I would say, yeah. Yeah, if I drive by and that quart jar is not gone in the second night, it's off of there. I'm wasting my time, I'm wasting money, especially in the heat, because it'll start molding real quick. Hang on a second. Presley?
I was just gonna ask for all the new members we got, is there any books that need to be brought in for the club or anything for them to borrow?
Any what?
Any books that we could bring in that you would suggest?
Oh. I don't know, I got a library right now, it weighs about 150 pounds. That's sitting in storage, but no, not really. The libraries have some books. Somebody before suggested that we just donate our entire library, our library that we have, to the Van Buren Library and Fort Smith Library. But then they turned around and said, you know, if they don't get checked out, the next book sale, they're gone for 10 cents a piece. I said, well, that's not happening, because these are XYZ, $75, $80 books. So I'll just make a plan for our November meeting. I'm gonna bring the club library to the meeting. If you wanna check something out for the winter reading, feel free. And that way y'all can take something home and read it during the winter. Oh, I can't remember your name. Deborah.
When you're winterizing, last year we get a lot of wind,
Yeah.
so we tar paper around it. And then when we got ready to take the tar paper off, we had wonderful ant nests.
Yeah.
So how do you prevent the ants, because even when they're styrofoaming around them, it's a good place for the ants. What do you do?
Yeah, he was a little cooking oil on the egg, on the legs, and the Vaseline on the legs. On the hive?
Axle grease, you know, but
Yeah. That's another reason I don't do a lot of that stuff, because it just, you know, it just seems to be causing problems every time I try to do something.
I just walk away.
But,
You don't see it.
you know, like the ants that I get, I don't get ants in my hive. Yeah, they're just on top and around it. Yeah.
hive itself.
I'm pretty successful with the hives that I have that I don't disturb very much. They're up at my deer hunting land. I only go up there like every 30 days, it seems like it. If I pull off that sheet metal before I even get into my hive, and there's a group of ants there with all the little white larvae and everything, they get the torch. That's the way I deal with them. I don't just brush them off. I torch them and I find their trail and I torch their trail all the way to the ground. And that seems to deter them. And I don't know if it's the odor, whatever. Redneck in one end. Seems to run them off. I don't know where their house is. I don't burn the whole field down. I just, you know, I tried one time, but when you wrap that thing like that, and if you've got it sitting up on center blocks or metal legs, you know, if you can put anything around them blocks to prevent that.
We still got it up there.
Yeah.
we got a metal frame, metal legs.
I still got it up there.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you then. Don't wrap it. Or it, you know, the wrap is mainly for a windbreak, and that wrap would be so easy to put on there. You watch the weather 3 days out and they say, we're going from 65 to 17 for 4 days. There's not gonna be an ant problem during 17-degree weather. But while it's 65 and stuff, those those bees can fly at 45. So they're not concerned. They're not keeping brood. We're not trying to keep this house at 98 degrees to keep brood until we get into February. They just cluster up and stay warm. I mean, they just need to stay above freezing inside that little cluster. Sandy? You have something?
With liquid feeding, what about bees that would take it year round? Like mine would never stop. They would just go super under super
Really?
sugar water.
Cut them off. Quit doing it.
So just when the flowers start, just.
Yeah, like right now, like I said, I'm seeing a lot of flowering going on besides the creek myrtles. And I'm expecting I'm hoping this week to get all my blackberry plants done with the cooler weather. Once I get all them done, I'm gonna start digging back into my hives and see if I can pull any more honey, because I still got some 4 or 5 supers on them. And see if I can pull some honey and just see how my mites are doing and start preparing for winter.
It's not too late then to rob them a little bit more?
Well, if I got 4 stacks of 4 honey supers on there, I can take a couple of them off. You know, I leave 1 full medium on there. And then now I run double deeps for my brood on most all my hives. Now if I go in there and I look in that top deep and it's full of honey, 100 pounds of honey, I probably will take all my supers off and extract them or store them for some winter feed. If I want to go set a frame just out in the open during the winter and let them devour it, I'll do that. Because they will slowly stop laying brood and they will start pulling all that honey out of supers and putting it down in that brood area where they're planning on wintering. That's what they're supposed to do. You know, that's the way I'm planning on them. That's what I want them to do. Because surely what will happen if I leave that super on there, that'll be the first place she lays in February. And I really don't want her up in that honey super. I want her to stay in her brood area. But when you go to store 75 honey supers, you start trying to figure out where you're going to store them all at. And I only got so much freezer space. Next. New people. Where are you at? I got any? I know your brains are going 100 miles an hour right now. So how do you get started in beekeeping for next year? I'm going to tell you that real quick.
No, I got a question.
Okay.
The hives that we robbed, they've been doing good, but the last 2 days they've been kicking all the brood out. What would cause that?
Probably taking the domes out.
The drones probably.
Yeah, they're white bees.
Yeah, they're white, but they're formed.
Some of them are formed, some of them are just little bitty black larvae.
Well, if some reason there's a high mite load, when they, on day 8, when they get ready to seal that larvae that's in there, that's when that mite goes in there and lays a bunch of eggs. And if there's a high mite load in there, the bee will go along and punch a little bitty tiny hole right in the middle of that cap and kill that larvae. And eventually that's their signal to go in there, eventually clean that out and throw that larvae out the door because it's loaded with mite eggs. And they can smell that. So that might be what they're doing. They're flushing out some mites, and they might be, like I said, flushing out drones. And drones is another place for mites because they incubate a little bit longer than a regular bee. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I know they're over here like he's in here, but
I talked to Ken Davis, and he said not to worry about it. But
Ken Davis.
He's the,
I know.
Oh, bee ranch guy, yeah.
I don't know how many there is.
some of them are the pupas, there's been a few that have been
See the
fully,
legs and the big eyes and all that.
yeah,
That's pretty late in the stage.
yeah, there's been a few of those, but we just got them, and they just started, and they have only drawn, what, 3?
6 frames.
Yes, 6 total frames.
How many do you see out front?
We had about 15 the first day, and then yesterday evening we had probably about 20 or 30. And the ones I saw yesterday were more the little bitty larvae. They weren't as formed. The first day we found a couple of more formed ones.
Well, you say you just got them.
We just,
Like, I cut them out of a tree about 3 weeks ago.
Okay, and rubber band the comb in the frame or something like that, or?
No,
they
just,
started
they
all
ended up swarming because I couldn't get them all out. And so I just went and grabbed handfuls of them and put them in
They
the
ended
box.
up all out in the
And then bought
pasture
a
in a
queen.
big ball.
Oh, okay.
So, and they didn't have the queen with them because we bought a queen from Penn, and they accepted that queen. And so we must have not gotten the queen when they took off.
You have frames in your boxes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're building to them.
Yeah, they're doing good. They're building good on it.
Well, what I was gonna say, if you cut that comb out, this is what I was thinking, you cut that comb out, you probably damaged quite a bit of brood by touching it, and that's what they're throwing out.
Well, I didn't cut a big enough hole in the tree. I had to pull it out, so I tore most of it up.
And so we didn't put any of that in the box,
We're just keeping a lot of sugar water out.
And they built 6 or 8 frames, they've drawn out 6 or 8 frames since in 3 or 4 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah, just relax, they're fine.
They're trucking.
My brother, he got some out of a tree one time, and they had mites, and they cleaned that whole hive. They cleaned the mites all out of the hive, all the brood and everything out of it.
Yeah, I'm
They
seeing
threw
a
them
lot.
out.
When I go to deal with bee trees, boy, beetles are just flying out of there. A lot of beetles flying out of there as much as bees. So I use them. People call me about a bee tree. I'm like, I'll come take care of the bee tree for you. But I usually the bees, and they're tough to get out of there. They're loaded with beetles and stuff like that, and they're hard to deal with.
Yeah, it's hard to get out.
But for next year, you folks that are new and saying, we want to get hives and stuff next year, we recommend that you buy some of your hive equipment during the winter and get it painted and get it aired out. Don't set it by your exhaust pipe in your house and warm your truck up every day and the whole thing smells like diesel. Don't be doing that. Get it and, get it outside and put a piece of sheet metal over it where it won't get wet and let it start airing out. If it's just plain foundation, usually bees or wax moths and stuff don't mess with that. But you can wait and put your foundation in there later. I'm just saying get the wood out there and get the paint out there and let it start airing out. And to purchase bees, there's usually always a waiting list. So everybody usually starts ordering their bees around January, early February, from the guys up in Fayetteville or Central Beekeeping Supply. They sell, and David might sell some, I might sell some. But once March and April and May hits, boy, it's hard to find bees. So
We always keep a swarm list.
Yes, we do.
And if you don't have bees, you can put your name on the swarm list, as long as you're a member of the club. And then as the swarm hits, normally the first week in March starting, then as the swarms come available, we'll be calling people on the list. You get freebies.
And I can't tell you how many we went through this year, but we caught, I don't know, say 20 plus, 25 swarms.
I could look and see, but quite a few.
All around the area. Some of them we just went and caught and then, turned over to the people, let them go put it in their hives. And, they're out there during swarm season. I'm carrying a bucket and I'm looking on every mailbox and every picnic table. I'm looking. And especially where I know there's beekeepers that live.
That's why you're always around my house.
I got some stickers on my car.
You come and visit me a whole lot.
It's funny when somebody calls me and says, I've got a swarm hanging in my tree. Where do you live? And they tell me they have one block from Mike or Doug. I'm like, I'll be here in a minute. I know what the problem is. Yeah, the lady today, though, found me through the police department. And it's not just me, my business. She found the Bee Club phone number, which is mostly listed as me, but she found it through the police department. She called looked at the website said called 911, and she just called 911, said I got a bee problem, and they gave her my number, and I went and checked it out. But that's usually what I tell people about bee swarms when I do public speaking. So tell them call the fire department. They don't want to deal with it, and they will give you the Bee Club's phone number, and I'll call one of my 200 out there and say, go get them. Because I can't take them all. I don't have enough wood to put them in. I don't think I have much of anything else to show up here. You guys got anything else to talk about? I don't want to go through my Facebook pages. Yeah, this right here, help me out so when y'all are out there. I think that was hive number 1 that you donated. Shannon donated. And that was the second super that we figured out with. So that dude, and it is cat wall to wall. And I already went and put another super on one of the hives that we talked about. I think it was this one. Yeah. So I went and put another super on one. We'll see how it goes. You ready to draw? You want to take us in here? Anybody else want to buy any tickets? Yes, sir. Come on up here and talk to David. You can do it on back here. Oh, he's got it. We'll need your name, your phone number. It's $12 for an individual or 18 for a family. The dip. Get our name on the list. Okay. Make sure we get a good, clear email. I need to know if it's an I or a 1 or a 7 or whatever it is, a 2 and a Z and all that kind of good stuff.
I wasn't on that page.
Yes, I've got you added. I just text Gary today.
Okay, but
I
I
noticed.
was wrong there.
Okay, I noticed you weren't on there. I gave Gary on there. All right, y'all ready to do the door prizes? So the first ticket drawn.
So exciting. Oh, man. Are you sound? Oh, yeah. That is so
All right, pause.
Let's see your place in it. Lovely, too. See it.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, sir.
Or choice.
Friend request on Facebook.
There's a lot of good stuff up there. Yeah, whatever. Okay, here's the way the door prize is gonna go. We got 5 prizes. You get $13. You get $13. We got 2 $13 prizes. You get the roll of wire. You get a dozen eggs or a dozen eggs. That's 5 prizes. So Josh, ready? You got your sheets ready? Oh, look. Ticket number in green, 3735332. 332 is the last 3. Really? That's it?
Okay.
All right,
Money, eggs, or string?
First prize. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
316 is the last 3. 316. 316. Here. Here. Pick up. There you go. All right, what do you want? $13 or eggs?
Who does it, eggs?
Go, yeah. There you go. All right, young lady, pick up the ticket.
You know how it works, don't you?
Yeah, honey, no use waiting. 321. 321. Here. Really?
Yeah, one of these is. You want the other money?
Yeah.
I need $1 handling fee.
288. 288.
They want eggs.
Here. 288. All right, before everybody leaves, let me tell you where the training hives are at. 280. 280. Is it? Good. So the training hives are located on, I'm going to call it 59 South. It's the same road that goes over to Lock and Dam 13.